pealing of the bells during the Easter fete of the Joy of Resurrection brings the residents of Mudoulas village to the centrally located ancient church of the Virgin Mary. It is a small, wooden-roofed, single-aisled church, the oldest of its kind in Cyprus, bearing a semicircular arch. This type of church, with its very steep pitched roof covered with flat tiles, was typical of the Troodos mountain range because of its easy and economical construction. The frescoes of the Church of the Virgin Mary in Mudoulas can be divided into two categories according to style and date of origin. The external murals were painted during the 14th century and reveal a strong Paleologian influence. The internal murals belong to the church's initial decoration, dating back to 1280, and comprise depictions of scenes from the life of Christ and images of various saints. The Church of St. Nikolaos Distegis is situated near Gagopetria, in a lovely forest valley on the banks of the Karkotis River. Architecturally, the church belongs to the domed cruciform and was originally built with neither the narthex nor the second pitch roof that hides its style today. The church is the only remnant of an old monastery, which was founded in the 11th century and flourished during the mid-Byzantine period and into the Frankish rule, falling into decline in the 18th century. The church of Banaie Foviotissa, better known as Banaie of Asinu, was founded by Magistros Nikiforos Iskyrios in 1099. The church is a small single-vaulted building built with local volcanic stones, originally covered with flat tiles, and replete with frescoes painted during various eras by different iconographers. Both the iconographic and the stylistic elements which comprise the Asinu paintings refer one to Constantinople. The oldest narthex fresco is Banaie Foviotissa, which is over the original entrance of the church belonging to the original 1105 cycle. In Bedoulas, the Marathasa Valley's dominant village, we come across the church of Archangel Michael, a single-aisled wooden-roofed edifice featuring a semicircular protruding arch on its eastern side. This church, with its distinctive hooked roofing tiles and its double roof, is one of the most beautiful in the village. The church originally comprised only one area, but was later extended through the addition of a narthex along the south and west walls. According to the dedicatory inscription situated above the north entrance, the church was decorated in 1474 through the funding of Father Vasilios Hamados. The entire edifice is painted, with the frescoes having been relatively well preserved. According to another inscription, the church was decorated in 1474 by a painter named Minas. The hagiographer Minas draws inspiration from the Macedonian school, as is apparent in the way in which he portrays vestments and the rather bulky torsos. His art, however, is simplistic and his style linear. His entire work is based on geometric lines. The monastery of Aios Ioannis Lambadistis is built on the right banks of the Setrachos River, to the east of the village of Galopanagiotis. It comprises a linked three-church complex and two two-story monastic buildings, which constitute the eastern and western wings of the monastery. The oldest section of the church still standing is the Katholigon, dedicated to Saint Heraclivius, a domed cruciform structure. Its dimensions are relatively heavy, and the few morphological and stylistic elements preserved to this day suggest that it was built in the 11th century. In the 12th century, the chapel of Aios Ioannis was built. For reasons unknown, it later collapsed and was rebuilt during Ottoman rule. The second half of the 15th century saw the construction right up against the north wall of the chapel dedicated to St. John Lambadistis, the so-called Latin or Akathist hymn chapel, in which we encounter all the artistic trends which prevailed in the 16th century. At the southern edge of Pelendri village, we come across the Church of the Holy Cross. In its present form, the church is a result of several additions and interventions carried out at various times. Originally, a small single-aisle dome hall church was built shortly after the middle of the 12th century and was decorated with frescoes in 1178. The adornment of the main section of the church, which took place during the first half of the 14th century, is the work of at least 3 artists, who, however, belong to the same college. The first adheres to the Paleologian style developed in Constantinople in the 13th and 14th centuries. The second is more linear, employing a stylistic and less meticulous approach. The third one follows the local tradition of Byzantine painting as this developed in the 14th century, with his work focusing more on depictions of scenes from the life of the Virgin Mary, creating the most extensive cycle of the life of the Mother of God existing in Cyprus.